Rome was the greatest empire the ancient world had ever seen, a civilization of marble temples, disciplined armies, and endless roads stretching across continents. But behind that legendary power lived a darker reality, an empire that learned to rule not only through strength, but through fear that echoed across the ancient world. By the 1st century BCE, Rome controlled lands from the deserts of North Africa to the misty forests of Northern Europe, ruling over millions of people who spoke different languages and followed different gods. But controlling such a vast empire required more than soldiers and taxes. Rome needed something deeper, something psychological, a reputation so terrifying that rebellion itself would seem impossible. Roman legions became the most disciplined military force of the ancient world, marching across mountains and deserts in perfect formation like an unstoppable machine. Each soldier trained endlessly with sword and shield, repeating the same brutal drills until every movement became instinct. But Rome understood something terrifying about human nature. Fear could travel farther than any army. When Roman legions approached a city, the choice was brutally simple: open your gates and submit, or prepare to be destroyed. Some cities surrendered immediately. They knew Rome's reputation and they had heard the stories. But those who resisted often faced unimaginable punishment designed to terrify the rest of the empire. After victory, thousands of prisoners could be chained together and marched away into slavery. Families were separated, languages lost, and lives erased as people were sold across the Mediterranean world. Yet even slavery was not the worst punishment Rome could deliver. For rebels, traitors, and enemies of the empire, Rome used a punishment so brutal it became legendary: crucifixion. Victims were nailed or tied to wooden beams and left to die slowly beneath the open sky. Travelers walking along Roman roads could see bodies hanging for miles, a terrifying warning written in human suffering. For years, this strategy worked. Fear kept Rome's vast empire stable and obedient. But in 73 BCE, a single man would challenge the empire's rule and ignite one of the most dangerous rebellions in Roman history. His name was Spartacus, a gladiator forced to fight in arenas for the amusement of Roman crowds. But Spartacus dreamed of something forbidden: freedom. One night, he and a small group of gladiators broke free from their prison and fled into the countryside. At first, they were only a few dozen desperate men hiding in the mountains, but word spread quickly among the enslaved population of Italy. Within months, thousands joined Spartacus, forming an army of slaves, farmers, and fugitives. Against all expectations, Spartacus began defeating Roman forces again and again. To Rome, the idea of slaves defeating Roman legions was terrifying. The empire realized this rebellion could inspire millions more to rise up, so Rome sent one of its wealthiest and most ruthless commanders to crush the rebellion. Crassus believed fear should not only control enemies, it should control his own soldiers as well. To enforce discipline, he revived an ancient Roman punishment known as decimation. 1 out of every 10 soldiers would be executed by the other 9. The brutal punishment worked. The Roman army became terrifyingly determined. Soon, Spartacus and his army were pushed south toward the tip of Italy. The rebels were trapped with no escape. The final battle erupted in chaos and desperation. Spartacus himself fought in the front lines, refusing to run. Ancient accounts say he tried to reach Crassus personally, but somewhere in the chaos, the rebel leader vanished forever. His body was never found. Rome had won the war, but the empire wanted the victory remembered. So Crassus ordered a punishment that would shock the entire empire. 6,000 captured rebels were crucified along the Appian Way. For nearly 100 miles, the road became a corridor of death. Every passerby understood the message immediately. This is what happens when you challenge Rome. The Roman Empire ruled the ancient world for centuries, but its power was built on a simple truth. Fear can control people for a time, yet history never forgets the cost of ruling through terror. But the story of Rome does not end here, because one day the empire that ruled the world through fear would face something it could not control: its own collapse.